Okay, let's see here. Let's see, multimeter check, soldering irons check, solder sponge check, batteries on the peak kit check, bench radio check, coax jumpers check, spectrum analyzer check, $500 worth of personal burial money check, 2 black shirts check with BBI logo, of course, 2 black hats check with BBI logo, of course. Let's see here, 2 black pair of pants check with BBI logo, of course. 2 black pair of boots check. And amplifier to work on. Check. All I got to do is shave my head, and I'll be ready to be launched into space, according to Fight Club, just like a monkey in a can. So this showed up with this hickory-do power wire on it, and we're going to file this in the appropriate place, right down to there. And it's got these joke of connectors, I mean spades, crimp spade connectors, where they crimped them. No solder. So we have a friction connection with a pressure connection and a pressure connection and a pressure connection and a friction connection. Yay! Don't work. No good. So, of course, this shit's gonna go away. We all know this. It's me. It's me. This is what I do. So, what we got here is a fairly minty 667. Texas Star 667. Pretty minty shape. The downside is, of course, it's got HG transistors in it. The downside is the driver section. This is arguably the worst thing that Texas Star has ever come up with, is this whole beautiful pile of stuff here. So I cannot, in good conscience, sell this with the 2 IRF 520s in there. I can't. All that stuff has to be snatched out of there, and we're going to put a 2290 Toshiba in that spot. And then we're going to do the power wire upgrades, and we're going to change out the coax, and we're going to make it so it's, you know, BBI proofed. Be a little bit more reliable. So first things third, last things last, second things, and then downhill we go. Let's change out that driver. Okay, so we'll see you guys in a couple hours. Whoop, whoop. As I get ready to pull this driver section out, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to speak real to you now. In all fairness, this is a brilliant workaround in its time. Okay, it's not necessary now. We've got a good stream of components. But in the early 2000s, around 2000 and shoot, what that would have been, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there, we didn't have a choice. Man, the insulator is shattered underneath this one. Look at that. Check this out. The insulator is cracked as cracked gets. We didn't have a lot of choices. There was a bad batch of Toshiba 2290s that made its way into the market in the early 2000s. That they come from RF parts, and I don't really remember what the problem was, but I mean, you get the Toshiba and you'd set everything up around it and it would work horribly. And I mean, back when X-Force was a powerhouse, they were coming out and they were saying, well, we're not going to be able to deliver any amplifiers with the 2290 in it. That one's cracked too. With the 2290 in it. So they're like, well, we're going to go to the 1446. And that's the way it laid for about 3 months. And then it, whatever, they got it figured out at RF Parts, I don't know. Got a better supplier of components. Whatever it took. And then we're back on like Donkey Kong with the 2290 again. So, I mean, the 2290 has gone up a great deal in value here in just the last little bit. And it's just because of availability. But there for a hot minute, we were unable to acquire them that worked. They didn't work. You could buy them, but they didn't work. So this is how Texas Star, in a creative redesign, utilized the 2 holes that were already in the heatsink to mount up 2 very first gen, incredibly low quality RF 520s to act as a driver. And it did okay. I mean, it did okay. The problem is it's not frickin' reliable. It could work here. I send it onto the customer, and 2 keys into the customer having it, the thing might blow up. So I can't stand behind. I cannot stand behind that. Just can't do it. So instead of moving these transformers around and have them all foolishly hanging off the transistor the way Texas Star did it for a long time, we're going to do it a different way. We're going to mount the transistor out here, and then we're going to run extensions off to everything, and it's going to work fine. We've done this. I've done this many times. But I wanted to say, in all fairness, when this amp was probably produced, they didn't have any other choices. The Haigu company, aka Mr. North, he makes a very... if it was me, I wouldn't use the 2290. I'd use the HG 455. I don't know what that transistor is based off of, but it works really well. That's just me. But since I have access to the good parts, we're going to put a 2290 in there, and we're going to move on. Just saying, in all fairness to Texas Star, I'm not wholeheartedly bagging on them. They were working with the situation. They had to keep the transistors going out the door. And I'm sure when this thing was originally produced, it had Toshibas in it. It's got HGs in it today. It is what it is. Moving on. Okay, well, we got a lot done since the last time you and I were together, which was just a couple seconds ago in your guys' mind, which was many hours ago to me. Check this out. So we went ahead and did the full up 150 amp Anderson clip on it. We did all the full power wire upgrades to everything in here. We cleaned up this input attenuator, and that's what this is. It was just kind of hanging in there ragged. There was an extra piece of wire hanging off of this. I cleaned all that up. But what we did is we got rid of the RF 520 and went ahead and put a 2290 Toshiba in here. Now, I went ahead and I rewrapped these, and I left the transformers sitting farther away. I just like how it looks. It's just my personal opinion. I just like how it looks. Sure makes it easy to get in here and work on this. Just saying. But at the end of the day, this thing works, makes really good, clean 600 watts of power. Does exactly what it's supposed to do. So let's take this out off the workbench. Let's go ahead and let's hook this up. Hookity to hookity, shingity snangity, put it in a hoe. Goes in the hoe. Okay, we're balls deep in the hoe. Do. Okay. Do. Throw this in here. Now, let's go over here and look at our meters. So 1,000 watt slug and peak, 1,000 in average, and 5 watt slug and reverse. Back from the bird, 10,000 watt dummy load. I know, shocker. I've never ever said that, not once on camera, ever. Have I, Alex? I got Spaceman sitting in the background over here. He's all excited. He's like a little kid in a candy store. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Put about 25-30 watts of drive into it. Now, before we go any further, hold on a second. Amplifier's on. Preamp is working. Let's go back up to the watt meters. Oh yeah, I did the coax upgrades. Every little bell and whistle's been added to this girl. Alright. Hello, audio. It's about 200 bird with this radio and about 600 watts. Of course, remember this is like 25 watts worth of drive. Hello, audio. So you want more out of it? Drive it a little bit harder. I wouldn't go past about 40 watts though. So let's widen you up. Widen it up. Let's pan on down. Let's go ahead, we'll bring the dial watt into the equation. Hello, and 2. Hello, and 2. Then we'll go ahead and we'll put it up on sideband. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Let's go over here. Take a look at the spectrum analyzer. So you don't realize it until you're sitting here. There's a reason that the spectrum analyzer is sitting at an angle. It's because all the friggin' shop lights, if I had it sitting straight, all this glare. Yeah. So that's the radio, otherwise known as our principal carrier. That's amplified. 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. Squeaky clean power. Squeaky clean. Okay, let's mosey on up here. Sorry. Sorry, everybody in YouTube land. 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. Oh, beautiful input tune. Now, just gonna say this out loud, and I'm not saying do this. I'm just saying it's an option. If you don't mind having a whole 1 watt worth of reflag, and you want to see about 700 watts out of this thing, pull this resistor out. But if it was me, I would leave it in the position that it's in. All positions! Positions! Missionary in all of them. All positions! I'd leave it in this position if I was you. Now, honestly, the tin is in excellent condition. The case is in excellent condition. The heatsink is in absolutely excellent condition. It's thermal compound from when I put the transistor in. I'll clean that up. This thing is in probably short of a couple little schmecks of schmoo, which if I took 5 minutes I could probably clean this off, and it probably will, knowing me. I'd say it's a 9.5 out of pristine. And it's got all the upgrades to it. Now, me being a nice guy and all, we're going to throw in the matching Anderson clip that goes with this. It's going to look remarkably like this. Magic. We'll throw the matching Anderson clip in with it. So we're probably going to want 700 for this, plus the ride. So we're looking at 720. Not 420, you poor people. 720. So hit me up, give me a call, let me know if you want it, if you're interested. You all know the drill at this point. First one to call, first one to text, first one to show up with cash in hand gets it. I don't care where it goes, who it goes to, it just cannot stay here. The bar is closed, it is time for you to go. We appreciate you stopping by, but y'all got to get out. It's time for you to go, and I don't care where you go, you just can't stay here, and this amp just cannot stay here. So, gentlemen, on to the next project. I got one more to do. Texas Star 667 for sale.